There's a generation of men just like me, who people say are as good as dead, beyond recovery, forsaken by God like our current condition was self-inflicted. But we were infected at conception with rejection, ejected from a womb where life was never spoken, only broken promises that dissolved to ashes before the first contraction. Our hope was choked out before we could inhale our first breath, so the womb that carried us became a tomb that birthed death, a generation of walking mummies. Because mommy wrapped us in words of death, and daddy let him stick when he left. Now we're left without a guide and without sight, so we just do what feels right. And since we never felt accepted by culture, we naturally found acceptance in rebellion, self-proclaimed outcast. But the world's label outlasted, and now we're just seen as another bad creation that was naughty by nature, when all we ever wanted was to just be a kid and play, and for someone to show us how to go from boys to men. But within arrested development, we got stuck in our immature ways and somehow became public enemy number one. And it didn't help. The crisscross messages from the media portrayed us as black sheep that lost all common sense, when we were really just crying out for someone to deliver us from this house of pain. Can you hear us now? We've been screaming so loud for so long that we've lost our voice. And with no other choice, we suffer in silence, using violence as a buffer and a decoy, so no one ever notices that inside we're just a broken little boy who was searching for a father, a mother, a mentor, someone who could show us what we were created for. We searched for it in booze and blunts, but that false reality quickly went up in smoke. We tried paper chasing, but forgot how fast money is, so we traded in our chips. Thought we'd buy a piece of fame from pop culture, but the vultures flipped, stripped, and sold us off for the best deal. For real, I mean, we even made a final appeal to the church. But because we weren't appealing to their bottom line, they just wrote us off like taxes. Just another number. Can anybody hear us? But our cry was heard, and the tear was felt, but the eye from which it fell was not ours. See, Jesus wept, and not over us, because he is the life and the resurrection. But the connection of his tears was tied to the unbelief in the hearts of those who say they believe. Those who freely receive the breath of life, but refuse to offer the bread of life, content to watch us starve to death and then have the audacity to say what a wasted life, while the life in them is wasting away. Hoarding what was meant to be given away freely. Well, free will kept them from free will. John and others, potential brothers, spiritually aborted because distorted interpretation left their selfishness supported. I know it's not reported, but how many of us do you walk by to get to your churches by 11? I wonder if it's recorded in heaven of files upon files and miles upon miles you walk, drove and laughed past us, and on a rare occasion mumbled, God bless you, half past us. How many more convictions until you're convicted enough to mention Jesus? How many more funerals will it take for you to care? Yeah, I see you at the rallies and the vigils and you're quick to shout, justice, justice, but that's just it. Jesus wanted you to be the one to deliver it. So if I can be frank, Paul said, even if your motives are selfish, preach. As long as the lost are being reached. Jesus said, teach and make disciples of all nations. It's more than an obligation. This here is Christian basics. Peter and John, in the face of cynics, couldn't help but proclaim it. Even if your thing is music, blow your trumpet like watchmen and watch. Man, what God can do through you. Watching dead men raised from their grave. Watch men sentenced to death go free. Watch the most arrogant humbly fall at Jesus' feet. Seeing Crips and Bloods get covered in a better blood. See, this is the authority that he gave you. The moment that he saved you, when someone reached out and presented the gospel to you. But us, we were infected at conception with rejection. And the only way this cycle will ever be broken is if you, the church, are broken enough with the love of Jesus to reach us.